Babies, my bunnies. So this is going to be a new moon in Aries reading. Now, the interesting thing about this new moon in Aries is that it's going to be conjunct with Chiron. And for those of you who don't know, Chiron is a minor planet. And this minor planet is very heavy energy. It deals a lot with a lot of hidden grief, anger, resentments. Basically that stuff that's kind of similar to Pluto in that sense, that stuff that's beneath the surface, the dark stuff, the stuff that we tend to hide under the rug or push under the bed, you know, the monster in the dark closet, so to speak, those monsters that lurk beneath the surface, you know, those sort of what I refer to as parasitic energies, sort of what I also know to be called tulpas. Those are energetic, sort of astral parasitic life forms that are cultivated from our sort of distorted emotions and a lot of that hidden pent-up stuff. Now, what's interesting about this is that Aries energy, as we all know it, is a very impulsive energy, and it's very kind of a very hot-headed energy, right? It's very aggressive in that sense. So when you combine it with this kind of energy, this could be volatile. This could be very volatile. This can cause a lot of upheavals, a lot of just losing your cool, a lot of violent outbreaks for some people, a lot of confrontations, or just a lot of very impulsive things that we don't want to happen. But also at the same time, it's going to cause, sorry, I'm like kind of clearing up the energies here. It's going to cause also a lot of our pent-up emotions to come up to the surface, babies. So stuff that we haven't dealt with, that we need to deal with. Very personal stuff, okay? So this reading is going to navigate us through this new moon in Aries, and I want to focus on, not only do I want to focus on the positive thing, because an Aries is very positive. It's spring, okay? It's a very positive energy. But there's this dark side, and I don't like to say the word negative because I don't see things in that sense. A negative isn't necessarily, I think it's more distorted. Let's look at things as distorted rather than negative. So we want to navigate through this, figure out our emotional terrain and our psyche, and how we can reformat it by, you know, allowing whatever is underneath to come up, and figure out how we can go about it and how we can navigate ourselves through this dark forest, so to speak, okay? Let's do this thing. New moon in Aries for my bunnies. What is coming up? Okay. First card. Wow. This is We Are the World card. Okay, now in the Rider-Waite, this would be the Ten of Pentacles. Interesting. I like this. This is the Osho deck. I like their interpretation of the Ten of Pentacles, because if you see that it's We Are the World, isn't that a song? Isn't that a song? I think there's a song like I don't know. I think there is, but I'm almost certain. But this is sort of an all-inclusive. Sort of a more of a global sort of take on that concept of a Ten of Pentacles, of abundance for all, right? So this is kind of like this is taking into regard the collective, all of us as a collective, right? I like that, because this is a collective experience that's happening here. You know, it's springtime and there's this transit happening. But I think what Spirit's trying to tell us is that you're not alone. You're not alone, babies. Okay, we're all going through it together. Okay, we're all going through this together. All right. Pull another card. Guilt. Wow. What was I saying? Never ceases to amaze. Chiron energy right there. Guilt. Oh, look at it. There it is. What was I just saying about the Chiron energy? It's going to be bringing up this kind of stuff. Guilt is a very toxic emotion. Okay? We all have our guilt. We've all done things that we feel guilty about. And those kind of base emotions that dwell like parasites beneath the surface. These are very diseased emotions. Okay, this kind of stuff to these kind of life forms, these kind of energetic, emotional life forms, to just be dwelling within our system. This is where disease, literally physical disease, comes from. This kind of stuff. This is how it's manifested, through this kind of frequencies and these kind of vibrations. So this stuff's going to be coming up. We need to really be aware of it as it comes up, okay? So that we can release it. Babies, we're all guilty of stuff. We all made mistakes. We need to get a deeper understanding and forgive yourself, okay? What's done is done, but you have to learn the lesson, right? You have to learn the lesson. Whatever it is that you're feeling guilty about, okay? Observe it from all angles and accept and take responsibility for your part of it, and put that moment in its place, okay? File it away. It's there. The lesson's there, the data's there, but it is no longer, it's no longer just having this all access to your terrain. Okay, you're filing it away, babies. Look at it. Take a deep look at everything you feel guilty about. Just completely do a complete scanning of your whole OS system, so to speak. Okay? Pull another card. Sorrow. Wow. Can we get any more CHIRON than this, babies? Sorrow. This card is sorrow. Look at that. Look at this poor monk. Look at him. Babies, we're all going through this. Everyone goes through this. And it's a big part of life, getting caught in this undertow, so to speak, in our sorrow, in the undertow, of life. And there's a reason for it. Sometimes some of us have a hard time coming to terms with the sorrow in our life. And so what do? We tend to push it under the rug, right? We tend to try to gloss it over. Drugs, alcohol, sex, whatever we can do just to not face the sorrow. And that's not the way to go about it. Okay, because it takes on a different life form deep within. Like, what if they talk about disease? Diseased emotions will cause diseased mind and diseased heart, diseased body eventually. So we have to understand it. We have to understand our way through it, right? And there's a reason for sorrow. It's there to teach us, okay? About so many things, and it's so personal for each and every one of us. But it has its place, and without it, we would be probably worse off than we think. There's like getting caught in the undertow, that concept of an undertow. Let me tell you a story. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with what it's like to get caught in an actual undertow. I'm talking in the ocean. I'm a SoCal kid, born and raised. So here in Southern California, it's a very beachy type of lifestyle. So the beach and the ocean is a very normal part of our childhoods here. So this one time, this is a scary story, by the way, just to let you guys know, I got caught in the undertow and I almost died. Okay, but here's what happened. I was 12 years old and I was on the boogie board, and I wasn't even in the deepest part. I was kind of just not really even that deep of the part. And there was this man, a grown man, and he was kind of like near me, and he was like a surfer guy. And he started crying. He was crying, screaming, and then he started screaming, "Shark!" Okay. That's like, can you imagine? Just to put yourself in a 12-year-old little kid. I was a teeny tiny little 12-year-old. I was a very, very tiny, little skinny, little, wafy 12-year-old. So I was like on a little boogie board, and I was like, I was freaking out. Oh my God. And you know what happened? Then the big wave came, and the wave landed right on me, and that plunked me under into the undertow. And I don't know if any of you've ever experienced this, but getting caught in undertow is It's horrifying. It's deadly. If you don't get saved out of it, you're dead. Okay, basically what happens is when the water lands on you, you're underneath what's going on, all the action's going on above the water. So you're in kind of like a washing machine because the water is pulling back, then it's coming back, and you're in the undertow. It's like a whirlpool. You're basically in a washing machine, and I was just getting tossed around like a rag doll. I was getting bounced off the bottom floor of the ocean where all the sediment is, just pounced over and over again. I couldn't get out. I was trapped. And at some point, I got knocked so hard that I knocked out. I was unconscious. And all I remember is I came to, and when I came to, I just like, all this water popped out of me, and I guess the lifeguards, they saved me, and I was laying there, you know, I could see the sky, I see all these people around me, and it was, oh my God. And then the salt water, the ocean water it was like all in my nasal passages. It was burning. I was like, I was freaking out. I was flailing about. They had to pin me down because I was like, I was freaking out. And then that man who was yelling shark, he was laid up next to me, on the sand next to me with all the ambulance and everyone there. And there was a chunk out of this man's leg. This man got bitten by a shark, had a chunk eaten out of his leg by a shark, this grown man, okay? And I was like, oh my God, I was freaking out. And here's the lesson to be learned. If it wasn't for that undertow, what would happen to me? If that undertow didn't take me under, me being this was a full-grown man. This is a big dude, right? A full-grown surfer dude. And here I was this tiny little wafy little 12-year-old who probably only weighed like 70-something, 80 pounds. And if that undertow hadn't taken me under and I hadn't been under there, I would have been eaten by that damn shark. That shark would have eaten me. Okay? Because I would have been perfect with that shark. I was this tiny little thing. It would have just chomped me in half. I would have been gone. I would have been eating babies. What I'm trying to say is like, that undertow saved my life. The undertow saved my life. So there's a lesson. See? There makes sense. So good. It's perfect. Yeah. See the sorrow? There's a purpose for the sorrow. There's something to learn. So we got to learn how are we going to navigate through this CHIRON energy is by learning the power of sorrow. There's a power in it. There's a reason for it. Okay? It's probably inexplicable, it's inexplainable, but there's something very, there's something sublime and something mystical about it that we need to understand. Okay, now, does it mean we have to stay in the undertow? Of course not. If you stay under there, you're gonna die, right? So, but there are benevolent forces and energies within us and around us that can help pull us out of the undertow. Like for me, it was for those lifeguards, there was no lifeguards, but the undertow was like an angel for me. That undertow that took me under, that was my angel. That was my guardian angel. Saved me from the damn shark, y'all. I haven't, needless to say, I have not actually been I go to the beach all the time. I love the beach, but I have not actually been in the water ever since. I was 12 years old then. I've been in the water ever since. Will I ever go back in the water again? Like in it? No, I don't think so, babies. I don't think so. I'm thinking about right now. No. You know what? I'm sorry, but once you're in there, that's their hood, okay? That ocean, that is their hood, okay? Once you're in their hood, you're free game, right? I mean, those gangsters can do whatever the hell they want. They will eat you. They will do whatever they want you. There ain't nothing gonna stop them. Once you're in their hood, that's their hood. You're in their hood. So I'll go knee high, and that's about it. Okay? I love the beach. I'll go on the yacht. I'll go on the boat. All that stuff. But am I gonna go in? Oh, hell no. Unless I'm in a cage. And even then, have you ever seen the movie 47 Meters Down? Watch that movie, 47 Meters Down. It's based on a true story, too. So, anyhow, I went off on that tangent, but hey, there was an allegory there, a very important allegory. Let's pull another card. Wow, look at this. It keeps on going. Look at this. This is the card of isolation, babies. Isolation. And they spell it isolation. Like the word ice dash olation. Isolation. Look at this. Can you see that? Just these ring lights. I mean these cards. You know what they need to do with these tarot cards? In this day and age with these ring lights and stuff, they need to make these tarot cards like more matted so there won't be such a reflection like that, you know? But you see this dude? Look at this dude. This dude is crying tears of icicles. Isolation, isolated. Okay, there's a reason for the isolation. Oh, you know what? No, there's something more here. I'm looking at this right now. This is interesting, you guys. I'm gonna turn this ring light down. I'm sorry if it looks kind of whatever. If it's not up to, YT standards, video quality standards, but it's important. Look at this dude. Look at his tears. You know what I'm noticing? His tears are like tears of gold. Do you see that? Yeah. Do you see that? I've never noticed that till right now, babies. This is brilliant. This is brilliant, you guys. This is so deep. This is a very important allegory that must be understood and must be encoded into you. Look at this Iceman. He's crying tears of gold. What is that saying, babies? Suppose I sang earlier about the sorrow, about the undertow was my saving grace. The undertow was my guardian angel saving me from the shark. And the isolation, there's a reason for that. If some of you are feeling isolated, and let's say isolation doesn't mean you have to be even physically alone. You could still be, even in a relationship or in a marriage even, and still feel isolated, right? If you just don't feel, if you're not getting the kind of sort of, connection that you want, right? Or if it's just not as, if you're in a situation that's not as compelling as what you need. If let's say you're with someone that just, they're not as compelling as you thought they were going to be, right? And you're just kind of going through the motions, right? That's isolating. Even if there's a physical body there, it doesn't matter. It's still isolating, It's like, to not feel isolated, our souls need to feel compelled and intrigued and on fire, right? We need that fire. There needs to be fire. There needs to be gold. Hence the golden tears. But you see, this isolation and that sorrow, what this card is, I love this Osho Zen deck. I love this deck so much. There's so much alchemy here. This is alchemy, babies. This sorrow and this isolation is being transmutated. There's a transmutation happening of this sorrow into gold, which means wisdom, babies. Wisdom, okay? Wisdom. Baby, your tears, those tears, all those moments, when you were like sat there at home alone, crying all by yourself, crying all those tears that you thought were meaningless, that had no purpose or meaning, that no one else was there to witness, they are precious. They are gold, okay, is what's being said here. Because you weren't alone, babies. You were alone. Your guides, your guardian angels, your ancestors, but even most importantly, spirit, the divine mother and father, God was there with you, okay? Okay, so these tears are precious. Our tears are like gems. They really are. And because there's a deeper understanding, there's something that happens to us. The sorrow in our life, like I said, there's a reason for the sorrow, okay? There's something profound there's a reason why sorrow exists, okay? Why it exists. It has a reason, it has a purpose. And some of it is beyond our scope of understanding, but it really is essential in this experience and in the cultivation of our eternal souls, okay? And that's on the bigger scope of things, okay? Earlier this morning, I was in Starbucks getting my ass blended Frappuccino, you know what I mean? And as I was standing there waiting for my order, I was scrolling through FB, and one of those FB memories that pop up came up, and it was a picture of someone very dear to me who is not with us anymore on this mortal coil, who I lost just this Christmas. And her picture came on, and it triggered me big time. I was struggling with all my strength to keep my tears were brimming. And I was in public and crowded here in Hollywood in a very crowded Starbucks. The tears they were barely on the brink of, they were going to start sliding down. I was like, oh my God, I wish they would get my Frappuccino. And, I was kind of, I didn't want to like draw, I didn't want people to see me because people stare at me wherever I go anyway. So it was obviously like, I didn't want people to see me crying. Finally got my Frappuccino, got out of there, and the waterfalls came down. Finally got my way home, and I was sat in here up in this pad. I just fell down onto the couch, went into ugly cry mode. I mean, my face was as red as tomato, snot coming out of my nose, the whole thing. I was ugly crying. Whoa, sorry about it. I was ugly crying, like a freaking baby, like an animal, like a baby animal. Okay, and that's that energy, right? That's that CHIRON. That's that CHIRON energy. And with that impulsive, like kind of Aries kind of energy, it was very intense. A lot of like just really intense emotion that came up. Grief. There was a lot of grief that I still had not processed underneath. And this was just this past Christmas. It seems like just yesterday. There's just so much to deal with, and there's probably more for me to process too. But the point is those tears are gold, right? These tears, we need these tears, babies. We need these tears, okay? I'm thinking many of you guys need to cry, okay? When that moment comes, rather than suppressing it, do your thing. Like what I did. I got out of there. I instead of going to the next destination I was going to go to for this day, I came home and cried. I needed to. There was I had no choice, babies. There was no choice. I was really overtaken. The emotion was that powerful. And some of you, I'm sensing, are going to go through that. Now, it doesn't matter if you're, let's say, if you have to go into a bathroom and wash off your face and put on your face back on again, put all your makeup back on again, do it. But don't suppress it. Take the chance and ride this wave. Ride this wave and cry it out is what I'm being guided to tell some of you. Next card. Inner voice. That's that moon energy. You know what I'm noticing right now? Wow. Look at in this card, ring light. You turn it down a little lower. You see that? I see these two dolphins up here. See that? There's these two dolphins. That Pisces energy. But I'm also getting some soulmate vibes. Whenever I see two dolphins, it's always that soulmate. It's always that twin flame kind of energy. That really deep emotional bond. I'm being told, inner voice, there's somebody that your inner voice is telling you is special. For many of you, there's someone that you know is special, and your inner voice is telling them this is a special soul. Okay, that's what I mean, guided to explain to you guys. So for those of you who know who that is, and you have that instinct, your inner voice is telling you, it's like, whoa, there's something. Like you have this instinct that this is somebody that you've known from another lifetime, or you just have this just something familiar about them, or just something that you're really drawn to, or someone that you just cannot get out of your energy. Listen to your inner voice about this person. Okay. Next card, the Creator. Okay, this card keeps on coming out in my readings too. Perfect. The Creator. Would be very like Aries energy, because I think would this be the King of Wands in the Rider Waite? I think it is. Either way, it's very Aries energy. Look at it. It has kind of that Emperor quality. Look at the colors. It has a very Aries energy, and this is new moon Aries, so it's a very Aries season. So I'm getting this very Aries energy from here. I'm sensing that there's a lot of creativity that's going to be coming up. It is Aries season, and there's going to be a lot of creative energy. I'm also getting a very sexual energy. I'm just being honest. I'm getting a very sexual energy. I felt it. Okay, so there's going to be well, it is springtime, very sexual energy. So I'm sensing masculine sexual energy, and then with this inner voice, I think maybe there might be some nice, big, thick, well hung thug that you all are interested in, that you all want to get really nicely, deeply thugged down by. Next card, New Vision. Wow. This card keeps on coming up too, y'all. Okay, you know what? These readings I've been doing lately with this deck, the same cards keep on coming up over and over. It's trippy. It's all synchronizing. It's synchronicity, babies. Okay, New Vision. This is a time of new visions. This is a type of new inspirations, of a new vision for yourself. A new version of you. Okay. What I'm sensing with this Chiron, see, the Chiron is going to be all the old parts of you, those old versions of yourself, old resentments, sorrows, fears, anxieties, all that shit, that old stuff that needs to go. Okay, grief, grief that has not been processed yet. That's old stuff. We grieve. We need to grieve it, and we need to get it out, and we need to move on. Right. That's what needs to happen. You need to move on into your new vision, babies. Because look at this individual or her. Okay, she, he, whatever they are dancing. And we need to see these details, babies. You see down there underneath this, right here? That's the former self crawling. You see that? That's that former self crawling. And then look at rising up with a new vision, a new version of yourself. This is dancing towards the sun. See what I'm saying, babies? Boom. Next card, wow, is the Mind card. Look at this. Look at her. Yeah, that's what we need to leave behind. Okay, we have a new vision for ourselves. We need to dance. We need to be free. We need to dance. We need to get a groove on. Turn on some good like disco or some old school R&B, hip hop from the 90s. Some feel good music and feel good. You know what I mean? That's what we need to do. And we need to get out of this. Look at her, girl, girl. Oh my God! I just channeled somebody. This is a friend of mine. His name was Carlos, and he was from Barcelona. He's a Barcelona beach, and everything he would say, because his filler word, I guess, because he didn't really speak fluent English, his filler word was girl. He'd be all girl, girl, girl. We'd be on Rodeo Drive, and he'd be looking in a boutique window and see some shoes. He'd be all, girl, girl, or a hot guy would walk by, and he'd be all, girl, girl. And he was an Aries. He was Carlos. He was an Aries. Perfect. See how this just lines up? See how the mind lines up? See what I'm saying? The way it all works, our terrain works. That came up. That data came up for a reason. This bee was an Aries. This beach from Barcelona was an Aries. So there you go. What can we learn from Carlos? Okay, let's see. He was an Aries, and you know what life was to him? Life was fashion, shopping, and dick. Okay, big dick. See. So I think we can learn a thing or two from Carlos. Okay, rather like me, I'm an Aquarius. Like me, I wish I was more like that, because I'm always thinking about all this deep shit. I'm thinking about quantum physics. I'm thinking about science. I'm thinking about politics, spiritual. I'm always thinking about everything. I'm like that bee with like a Bunsen burner and a microscope. Like, what's this? I'm trying to figure everything out. We need to be a little more like Carlos. We need to be a little more like, let's just find some big, thick thug and just be like, whatever. Or some big V if you're into V, whatever you're into. Let's just, you know what I mean? We need to get more in line with that energy of like our bodies and enjoying ourselves, I think, a little more. And that's probably a very important message definitely for me and for many of you as well. Next card. Oh, wow. This is so Aries. It's a card of sharing, babies. That's that divine mama energy, that divine fire mama energy. Look at her. Look at her. She's got this whole this cuisine she has all fixed up. Can you see that? The cards. They need to make these cards more matte, more ring light friendly these days, okay? Maybe I should make some tarot cards and make them that way. But look at that. See that? Look at her. This would be the Queen of Wands in the Rider-Waite. Perfect, right? It's that springtime energy. It's the divine mama spring, okay? So, and it's weird how we were talking about Carlos, because he definitely had this kind of energy. He was that beach. You know what I mean? He had that kind of energy. I'm sensing many of us are going to be tapping into this side of ourselves, male or female, okay? Whether you're hetero or homo or lesbo or whatever you are, gender fluid, whatever you are, we all have this energy within us. And that's the energy of spring. It's that energy of celebrating ourselves, being the star, not being afraid to get up on stage and just indulge in our own beauty, feel beautiful, feel powerful, feel sexy, all that stuff. It's important, and we need to tap into that, babies. Next card is compromise. The compromise card. Interesting. I'm being told this is going to be more of a self process. And I'm being told to interpret this as we need to compromise with our former self and what we want, the version of ourselves that we want to become. We need to compromise. And why is that, babies? Because our former self is always gonna be a very vital part of who we are, right? But we can't let that dictate exactly who we are. And we can't get completely lost in the total idealism of who we want to be. We need to find a balance, right? We need to compromise. So we need to take the lessons that we've learned. We need to take those, like what we were saying earlier with the golden tears. We need to take our golden tears, those jewels, with us, and we need to add them to this new version of us. You see what I'm saying? So we got that wisdom, that wisdom with that sense of newness, yet new wisdom. There's like a new sense of wisdom. Get it? Alchemy. And the next card is maturity. Okay? Wow, it does tie in, doesn't it? That's a very mature approach, isn't it? To take the gems of our former selves, the gems of that former self, and apply it to this new, renewed vision of ourselves. That's a very mature approach, right? That's a very mature way of, now when we say mature, it doesn't have to pertain to age, okay? You can still be mature, and you could be 15 and be even more mature than, let's say, someone in their 30s. It all depends on the soul, right? Maturity is I think, is somebody who's gained access to that higher state of consciousness within themselves. That's maturity, okay? It has nothing to do with age or with the body. It's more of the alchemical. Where are you at in that flask, that alchemical flask? What process are you in, okay? Are you in the mature phase, in the third phase of the flask? That's where the alchemy happens. You go through those 3 phases in alchemy, right? And the final phase, the third phase, is when you're completely transformed, the transmutation. Okay, the next card is, this card keeps on coming out in every single reading. I'm not even joking, y'all, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing. But the synchronicity, it's the card of existence. This is the existence card. This is the contemplation of the meaning of life, the meaning of your existence. Why are you here, babies? What's the meaning of your you being here? What makes you happy? What do you need, babies? All that stuff, okay? Next card. Oh my, Oh my God, I'm sorry, I'm freaking out, y'all. But this card keeps on coming out too, and I'm glad it does because it's the card of courage, and I love this card. I've been saying in all my other previous readings I just posted, because this card keeps on coming up. It's this flower growing up out of the crack in the rocks, telling the rocks, you ain't gonna keep me down, because I'm gonna find this crack so that I can grow. Okay, I'm gonna grow because I need to get to the sun. You know, because I'm a beautiful being, light and child of the sun, and that's where I belong. I belong up there with the sun. I don't belong down under these rocks. So I'm gonna come up through these cracks. Now I'm gonna bloom. Okay. Next card is, wow, I love it. Consciousness, babies. Consciousness. Okay, this is, what was I talking about? A higher state of consciousness. All this stuff, this CHIRON, this new moon in Aries, with this conjunct CHIRON, is gonna be your sort of portal into this higher state of consciousness. Okay? Let it happen, babies. Let it happen. Song just came to mind. That song just came to mind. It's a song. It's called Let It Happen, and it's by Tame Impala. The song Let It Happen. Listen to it. Maybe I'll put a link to it up on this video. Nevertheless, listen to it. It's a song called Let It Happen by Tame Impala, and I think the lyrics are dealing with this kind of things. Just to let your evolution happen. Don't try to hinder yourself. You know, go with it. Go through it. Whatever pains are, like, for example, this flower is not trying to like break the rocks. It's trying to go through it. It's trying to find what ways it can to grow, right? So that's what we need to do. We need to go through it so we can get to this higher state of consciousness. What is that higher state of consciousness? It's the bloom, right? When you bloom like that under the sun, you finally reach the sunlight. That's the higher state of consciousness, is that sun, that all-encompassing sun, right? And that's what we need to do. Next card, the burden. Wow. This card, oh God, this card. I hate this beach. Look at her. She sat up on him. This beach sat up on this guy's shoulders with a clucking hand on her head, telling him what to do. Look at pointing on, take me over there. Ugh. You know, I'm sure we've all had women like that in our lives before. You know, you know, that kind of energy, that kind of really distorted sort of like female energy. No, it doesn't necessarily have to be female specifically per se. It's genders, it's irregardless of gender. It's just that energy, right? It's probably just, it could be yourself too. It's probably a state of your, part of your own mind or your own mental process. We all have that clucking hand within us, nagging at us, right? So, next card. We need to get rid of that. Why do we need to get rid of that? Because we need to celebrate, y'all. There's a lot to celebrate about this universe, okay? About us, okay? In spite of our sorrows and our burdens, there's so much to celebrate. As a matter of fact, even our sorrows and our burdens can be celebrated because they are part of what is fortifying us, and they are part of the tapestry that is us, babies. And babies, each and every one of you are a beautiful tapestry. We may not see the big picture yet because, you know, we're just like the little threads, right? But there's a big, beautiful tapestry that each and every one of you are, babies. And that is something to celebrate. I'm sensing this new moon in Aries is going to bring a lot of fun partying. You know, there's music festivals coming up. You know, take yourself. We're going to go to the music festival, right? Go to that music festival, have a good time, get our groove on. Wow. Next card is Source. Perfect. That's the sun. That's that Big Bang. That's that divine father energy, that divine masculine energy. Okay? Life source. The source of life. The sun. Right? That's very Aries energy too. Very springtime energy, very like that masculine energy. It's got our back, babies. Okay, we're gonna get that fusion, that sun fusion, right? That energy. I'm being told that a lot of you guys need to get out in that sun a little more. You guys need some vitamin D. for many of you, okay? You need the vitamin D, okay? And you can't just take it in pill form. You need the actual spirit of the vitamin D. You need the spirit of the sun. Go out there. If you can't get out in the sun too much, or if you have, whatever, you get a little, it irritates you or something, then get a jug of water and glass and make yourself some solar water. Put that jug of water in the sun, make yourself some solar water, and drink the solar water. Put it on you, put it in your hair. Use the solar water, babies, okay? Next card is, wow, perfect. Moment to moment. I love this card. Look at him. Look at him. He's just gleefully jumping from stepping stone to stepping stone. Okay? Moment to moment. Being in the moment. Enjoying the moments. That's what we need to do, right? Address each, whatever comes up, whatever sorrow, burden, grief, resentment comes up. Address each and every thing that comes up in each and every moment, but hop onto the next stone, right? Keep on hopping on those stones. You got places to go, babies. And this is the card we're going to end it on, because I'm looking at it and this is the perfect card to end it on. And it is the card of transformation, babies. Transformation. Okay, what can this new moon in Aries bring you? Conjunct CHIRON. That's the important thing, babies, is that conjunction. It's very important. It is going to bring you a transformation. Okay, babies? A transformation. Okay, what is that transformation? That is taking all that data, all that stuff, those burdens, that grief, the sorrow, the resentment, all of it, taking it all and transforming it. This is alchemy. This is the ultimate alchemy. It's the transformation. Transforming it into your joy, right? It's going to connect you to the joy in life. And real joy is attained through a deeper understanding of all of that of which burdens us, right? When we're fortified in our sorrow, when we teach our teardrop how to smile, then we are truly transformed, right? We truly attain transformation. It's not something that can be pretend. We can't pretend it to ourselves. People try all the time. It doesn't work. No. Okay, it may work on a YouTube video at face value, but no. It's something very personal. It's alchemy. And each and every one of us have to do that in order to take control of this life. And our approach, we need to be very aware of our approach too. I'm being told, and it's true. We need to keep our sense of the absurd intact, because we're living in a very absurd universe, babies. There's all kinds of crazy shit out here, and it's magnificent. It's terrifying and magnificent all at the same time. Okay, but you know who I keep on thinking of right now? For some reason, he's coming to my mind. Sadhguru. Sadhguru? If you don't, look him up. We all need a little bit of Sadhguru. I like him. You know why I like him? He's that guru. I like him because he's got this really kind of snarky attitude. He's got a little bit of an attitude. I like it though. It's not. He's funny. He's got a bit of a sarcastic attitude. So he's got this sort of sarcastic sense of wisdom. And I think that's the approach, isn't it? That is the way to approach it. That's a great way to be transformed by everything, is to keep your sense of the absurd intact, okay? That's how you're going to get through all these sorrows and stuff. Because ultimately, you have to realize how absurd everything is. And it's glorious and wonderful for that. And that can give you that sort of strange, sort of sarcastic sense of sort of cosmic humor. You know what I mean? When you attain that, I think that's the true transformation, right? That's when you're truly balanced. That's that Sadhguru energy. Like if you watch him, he's laughing. He laughs about a lot of shit. A lot of shit that a lot of people might not find that very funny, but I think he laughs about it because he knows the power in joy, the power in being able to keep a sense of the absurd intact within a sense of sarcasm. He knows the power of having a sarcastic sense of wisdom, right? All right, babies. Sorry about that. I think that sums it up with our readings. This new moon in Aries conjunct Chiron. And it's a great way to start the spring energy. And for some reason, this year seems like it's very profound 2022. It's that number too, isn't it? It's that portal, babies. So I'm wishing you all, babies, I wish you all clarity, energy, fusion, you know, just that solar lunar fusion, and complete and total whimsy and joy and wonderment. Okay, thank you for subscribing, liking, and sharing and commenting, and I love you, babies. Okay. Well,